What's up, everybody? Welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm Purity, as you know me, and we are on our road to 1,000 subscribers. To our returning subscribers, thank you very much. We are happy to have you. Our new subscribers, welcome very much. We are humbled also to have you. So continue supporting us. And in our today's episode, as you know, we are in our Easter holiday. So in our today's episode, we'll be discussing about what really happened from the time Jesus was celebrating the Last Supper with his disciples to the time he was arrested and crucified. So move with us. Actually, I'll just be narrating the story, how it happened. And I'll be referring from the book of Matthew, chapter 26 and 27. So if you just have your Bible there, just follow it, because I'll be strictly moving verse after verse without even narrating anywhere, without referring anywhere. I'm just narrating from off-head, and I know it will be a blessing. So let us move together. This will be part 1, then part 2 will be about the resurrection. So kindly welcome and stay tuned. Thank you. And it came to pass, after Jesus had finished all these things, he said to his disciples, "You know that after 2 days it will be the feast of the unleavened bread, and the Son of Man will be betrayed to be killed." And the chief priests and the scribes and the elders of the people assembled at the palace of the high priest, who was called Caiaphas. Then they made a plan on how to kill Jesus. But they said it should not be on the feast day, lest we cause commotion among the people. Now, Jesus was in Bethany, in the house of Simon the leper. And while he sat at the table with his disciples, a woman came with an alabaster box full of precious ointment, and she poured on his head while Jesus was at the table. And when the disciples saw it, they were displeased, and they began to question, "What is the purpose of this wastage? For this ointment could have been sold a lot of money, and the money given to the poor." But when Jesus perceived their thinking, he told them, "Why are you troubled about the good action this woman is doing to me? For you always have the poor with you, but you not always have me. For this woman is doing this to prepare my body for my burial. And I tell you that wherever this gospel shall be preached, the good action of this woman shall also be mentioned as a remembrance of her." Then one of the 12, who was called Judas, went to the high priest and asked them, "What shall it be given to a man who betrays Jesus unto you?" Then they told him, or they made a covenant and told him that he will be given 30 pieces of silver. And from that moment, Judas sought for an opportunity to betray Jesus. Now, it was the first day of the feast. And the disciples of Jesus came to him and asked him, "Where do you want us to prepare for you the Passover?" Then Jesus told them, "Go to the city and you'll meet the man. Then tell him that the master says, 'My time is at hand. Let me prepare the feast in your house with my disciples.'" Then the disciples went and did as Jesus told them and prepared the feast. Now when the evening came, they sat at the table. Jesus sat at the table with the 12. And as they were eating, he told them, "For sure I tell you that one of you will betray me." Then they began to question. The disciples were annoyed, and they began to question, "Master, is it I?" Then Jesus told them that whoever puts his hand together with me in the dish, that one will betray me. For the Son of Man must go as it is written. But woe unto that person who betrays the Son of Man, for it was better for him if he was not born. Then Judas Iscariot asked him, "Master, is it I?" Then Jesus told him, "You have said it." And as they were eating, Jesus took bread and blessed it and broke it and gave it to them, saying, "Take, this is my body." Then again he took the cup and blessed it and gave it to them, saying, "Take it all, for this is my blood of the New Testament, which shall be shed for the redemption of sins. And for sure I tell you, from now henceforth I will not take again of the fruit of this vine, unless I take it new with you in my Father's kingdom." And when they had sung an hymn, they went to Mount Olives. And now Jesus said to them, "All of you shall be offended this night because of me. For it is written in the scriptures that I will smite the shepherd, and the sheep of his flock shall be scattered abroad." Then Peter said, "Though all the other people shall be offended because of you, I will not be offended because of you." Then Jesus said to him, "For sure I tell you that this night before the cock crows, you shall deny me 3 times. Then Peter said, "Even if it will cost me death, I will not deny you." And so did the other disciples say so. Then they came to a place called Gethsemane, and Jesus said to the disciples, "Sit here as I go on the other side to pray." And he went and he took with him Peter and the two sons of Zebedee. And he took with him Peter and the two sons of Zebedee, and he became to be very sorrowful and heavy. And then he said unto them, "My soul is very sorrowful, even unto the point of death. Stay with me here as I pray." Then he went a little further and fell down on his face and prayed, saying, "Father, if it is possible, take this cup away from me. Not according to my will, but according to your will." Then he came back to the disciples and found them asleep. And then he asked Peter, "You could not even keep a watch with me even for an hour? Wake up and pray so that you may not enter into temptations. For the spirit is willing, but the body is indeed weak." Then he went again and prayed, saying, "Father, if it is a must for me to take this cup, then let your will be done." Then he came back to the disciples and found them asleep, and their eyes were heavy. Then he left them and went back to pray for the third time, saying the same words. When he came back, he told them, "Now sleep, take your rest. For the time has come that the Son of Man must be handed over to the sinners. Now rise up and let us begin, for he is he who is about to betray me." And as he was saying these words, Judas appeared with a multitude of people from the high priest who were carrying swords and staves. And Judas had given them a sign, saying, "Whoever I shall kiss, that is Jesus, take hold of him." Then Judas came to Jesus and greeted him, "Hail, Master," and kissed him. Then Jesus asked him, "Friend, where are you coming from?" And the multitude came and laid hands on Jesus. And the multitude came and laid hands on Jesus. Then one of the people who were with Jesus stretched out his hand and took a sword and smote the ear of one of the soldiers of the high priest. And then Jesus told him, "Take the sword back to its place. For sure I tell you that whoever takes the sword shall die by the sword. Or do you think that I'm not able to command my Father in heaven to bring for me more than 12 legions of angels? But how shall the scriptures be written?" In that same hour, Jesus said to the multitude, "Why have you come against me as if I'm a thief, carrying swords and stakes? For I have been with you all the day in the temple, and you never arrested me." Then they arrested him and took him to the chief priest Caiaphas, where the scribes and the elders were assembled. Then Peter followed from a far distance to see what would happen up to the end. Then he went and sat with the servants at the palace. Now the chief priests and the elders and all the council sought witnesses against Jesus, that is, false witnesses against Jesus, but they could find none, though very many witnesses appeared. Then at last 2 witnesses came, saying that this man claimed that he would destroy the temple and rebuild it in 3 days. Then Caiaphas asked him, "What do you have to say about what these people are saying against you?" Then Jesus kept quiet. Then Caiaphas asked him, "I adjure you by the name of the living God to tell me, are you Christ? Are you Jesus Christ, the Son of God?" Then Jesus said, "You have said it. And from now henceforth, the Son of Man shall be seated at the right hand of God, and coming at the right hand of power, and coming with clouds." Then Caiaphas rent his clothes and shouted with a loud voice, "You have heard his blasphemy. What more witnesses do we need? For you have heard his blasphemy." Then the Caiaphas asked the multitude, "What do you think I should do to this man?" Then they all shouted, "He is guilty of death." Then they spit on his face and buffeted him, and others smote him with the palms of their hands and started mocking him, saying, "Prophesy, you Christ, who has buffeted you, or who has smoten you?" Now Peter was sitting outside the palace of the high priest with the other servants. Then one of the maid told him, "For sure you are with Jesus of Nazareth." Then Peter said, "No, I don't know that man." Then he stood up and went outside. And as he went, he met with another maid who told him, "For sure, you are with Jesus of Nazareth." Then Peter made an oath and said that, "No, I don't know that man." Then again, those people who were standing with Peter told him, "It is true that you are with Jesus of Nazareth, because even your speech confirms it." Then Peter began to swear and curse, saying that, "I don't know what you are talking about, and I don't know that man." Then immediately the cock crew. Then Peter remembered the words of Jesus Christ, that before the cock crows, you shall deny me 3 times. Then he went outside and wept bitterly. When the morning came, the chief priests and the elders of the people and the scribes made a plan to kill Jesus. Then after they had bound him, they took him to Pontius Pilate, the governor. Now, Judas, who had betrayed Jesus, when he saw that he was condemned, he repented and went to the chief priests and told them that I am guilty, that I have betrayed an innocent blood. Then they told him, what does that one even affect us? It is upon you. Then Judas drew the 30 pieces of silver there and went and hanged himself. And the chief priest took the silver coins and said, it is not lawful for us to put this money in the treasury because it is the money of blood. So they made a plan and went and put a potter's field with that money, whereby they were supposed to bury the strangers in. And this was done so that it may be fulfilled that which was spoken by Jeremiah the prophet, saying that they took the 30 pieces of silver, the price of him that was valued, whom the children of Israel did value, and gave them for the potter's field as the Lord appointed me. And Jesus stood before the governor, and the governor asked him, are you the king of the Jews? Then Jesus said, you say it. And when he was accused of by the chief priests and the elders, he answered nothing. Then Pilate asked him, don't you hear how many things these people are witnessing against you? Then Jesus did not even answer, even a single word, and the governor marveled greatly. Now, at the feast, the governor was supposed to release one prisoner whom the people wanted, and there was a notable prisoner by the name Barabbas. And now, when they had all gathered, Pilate asked them, who do you want me to release for you between the two? Because he knew that it was because of him he had delivered Jesus. And when he sat at the judgment seat, his wife sent him a word saying, have nothing to do with this just man. For I have suffered a lot in a dream because of him. But the chief priests and the elders and persuaded the multitude that they should ask Barabbas to be released and destroy Jesus. So now Pilate asked them, who between the two do you want me to release for you? But they all shouted, release for us Barabbas. Then he asked, what about Jesus Christ of Nazareth? They all shouted, let him be crucified. Then the governor asked him, what evil has he done? But they shouted the more, saying, let him be crucified. Now when Pilate saw that he was unable to control the crowd, but rather he was causing more commotion, he took water and washed his hands before the multitude, saying, I am innocent of the blood of this just man. See it upon themselves. Then they all shouted, let his blood be upon us and our children. Then Pilate released Barabbas, and after scourging Jesus, he delivered him to be crucified. Now the soldiers of the governor gathered to Jesus a band of soldiers, and after they had stripped him naked and put on him a scarlet robe, they plaited a crown of thorns and placed it upon his head, and took a reed and put it on his right hand, and bowed their knee before him and started mocking him, saying, Hail, the King of the Jews! And when they had spit upon him, they took the reed and smote him on his head. And after they had mocked him, they took off the robe and put back his own raiment and led him away to be crucified. And on the way, they met with a man who was called Simon of Cyrene, and they forced him to carry the cross for Jesus. Now when they came to a place called Golgotha, that is to say, the place of a skull, they took vinegar and gave it to Jesus to drink. But after tasting it, he was not able to drink it because it was mixed with gall, or it was mingled with gall. And after they crucified Jesus, they parted his garments, casting lots. And this was done so that it may be fulfilled that which was spoken by the prophet, saying, and upon my garment they casted lots. And now they sat down and washed him. And they set up on his head an accusation which was written, this is the King of the Jews, or this is Jesus, the King of the Jews. And now there were two thieves who were crucified with him, one on the right hand and the other one on the left hand. And those passed by started mocking him and insulting him, saying, you who said you will destroy the temple and build it within 3 days, save yourself. If you are the Son of God, now come out of the cross, or come down from the cross. Also the chief priests and the elders and the scribes also mocked him, saying, you cannot save yourself, and yet you saved other people. If you are the King of the Jews, then come out of the cross and we will believe you. Now, you trusted in God. Let us see whether God will come down and deliver you. And also the thieves who were crucified with him also mocked him. Now from the 6th hour, there was darkness all over the land up to the 9th hour. And about the 9th hour, Jesus cried with a loud voice saying, Eli, Eli, lama sabachthani. That is to say, my Father, or my God, why have you forsaken me? Now, some of the people who stood there thought that he was calling for Elijah. Then one of them went straight away and brought spatch, which was filled with vinegar, and put it in a reed and gave him to drink. Then the rest said, let us see whether Elijah will come and save him. Now, when Jesus, or after Jesus had cried with a loud voice, he died, or he yielded his ghost. And behold, the curtain of the temple was torn into two from bottom to top, and there was a very great earthquake, and the rocks rent, and the bodies of the saints which had died resurrected, and they went to the holy city and appeared to many people. Now the centurion and the people who were watching Jesus, when they saw the earthquake and everything which had occurred, they were really fearful, and they trembled, and they said, indeed, this was the Son of God. Now, also there were women who were watching what was happening to Jesus. Those women who were following him and ministering to him while he was preaching. And among them was Mary Magdalene, Mary the mother of Joseph and James, and the mother of the two sons of Zebedee. And now, when the evening came, there came a man from the Arimathea, or there came a man of Arimathea by the name Joseph. Then he went, and actually Joseph was among the disciples of Jesus Christ, and he went to Pontius Pilate and requested for the body of Christ to go and bury it. Then Pilate ordered for the body to be given to him. And then after taking the body, he wrapped it in a clean linen cloth and went and laid it in a new tomb which no one had laid it before, and rolled a great stone at the door of the tomb, and departed. And Mary Magdalene and the other Mary were sitting up against the tomb watching. Now the next day that followed the day of the preparation, the chief priests and the Pharisees came together to Pilate and told him, you know that this deceiver, when he was alive, he said that after 3 days I will resurrect. So now you have to make sure that the tomb is guarded very strictly, so that his disciples may not come at night and steal his body and claim that he has resurrected, and then the last error will be worse than the first one. Then Pilate told them, of course you have enough soldiers, it's upon you to go and make sure that the tomb is guarded very strictly. Then the soldiers went and guarded the tomb and made a seal on the stone, and they sat there, and there was a very strict security and very tight security. So that's the end of the humiliation and the crucifixion of Jesus Christ. So now we have seen that Jesus has died. So when we will be back, we will have to know after 3 days what really happened. Did he resurrect? Because now we have seen that the disciples are not able to steal his body, because there is a very tight security. So we have to know after 3 days what really happened. That is what we shall be coming back to know. So at that point, I'm supposed to conclude there. So it's upon you to meditate that story of Jesus. And you have to ask yourself 3 questions. One question is, why did Jesus accept to be humiliated? 2, why did Jesus accept to be counted among the sinners, and yet he was not a sinner? Then the last question, why did God fail to help Jesus while he was being mistreated? Why did he just keep quiet? Thank you very much. Let us meet now episode 2 that is dropping tomorrow on Sunday to see what happened after 3 days. Thank you.